So my name is Divya Narayanan. I'm a senior and I'm a marketing and global business major at UT Dallas in the Jindal School of Management. And my paper is basically about the marketing implementations of alcohol in countries that are India, South Korea, and America. Because the cultures in these three countries are completely different. And how they view and market alcohol to their audience is completely different. So I thought it'd be really interesting to do a study on that and compare all these countries and what they hold dear and what they don't like. So. Something that motivated me to write this paper, I've actually lived in all three of these countries for a substantial amount of time. Like I studied abroad in South Korea, and I'm from India, and I've lived in America for a long time. So I have been at least a little bit exposed to their alcohol culture and how they view it, how their media views it, and how well it's received by their audience, or like the people that live there, and how much they consume alcohol and all of that. So I thought it would be a very interesting thing to study about because their views are just so drastically different. And their cultures, even though India and South Korea are both Asian, they still have a very different viewpoint on how much alcohol should be consumed, how it's consumed, who it should be consumed by, all of that. So I thought it'd be very interesting to put that together. One of the main things about going to these conferences is that you want to give your knowledge to the people next year that'll be going. Like, it's not just like you go and you learn something and you come back and you're like, oh, I have all this like knowledge. No, like you have to share it with like other students. Like, and I'm really open to that. Like if Kara were to ask me to like talk, like come in and be like, hey, talk about the conference. Like I would be more than happy to do that because I want this to continue. I don't want it to just stop with like, you know, like people like giving us money to send us to a conference. Like this should happen like every year so that we can establish UTD's image in conferences like these. Not just like send us once or twice, but like go every year and have like a consistent image there. And like I just think that would be important to forward us in what we want to do and what these students want to gain from these conferences too. So,
right.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Like to keep this going, definitely like a tradition, not just like a hey, you can go, but like next year nobody's gonna go. Like I think that's you know that's kind of pointless. Like why are you doing this in the first place if you're not going to be continuously helping students? I went to the Harvard conference, and it was very interesting to be in a group of people that also have like studied things that look the same caliber, not exactly the same subject, but have taken so much interest into a certain subject. And like doing a cross-cultural study isn't a joke. Like you have to, like split up your data and make sure that you're having enough data. And so all these people have gone through the same thing that you have putting together this paper. So seeing how much effort that they put into what subject that they've, studied, even though it's like all marketing based, it's really interesting. Like, oh, what did you learn about marketing versus what did we learn? Because we studied two completely different things. And the Harvard conference was actually like an international conference, just like how Cambridge and Oxford are supposed to be. So I think it's just a bigger opportunity for us to meet other students from other universities in other countries that have their own take on marketing strategies of their own people or whatever they've studied from. Like mine, it could have just been like an American study, but other people in other countries have done like their own study, like their own people or other people. So it's never going to be the same thing that we've all learned, and it's something that we can all learn from each other. And yeah, I think that's a really good chance for us to meet other people, network, and learn about marketing around the world. I think what UTD really stands for is that like we hold ourselves to a standard that's at an international level. We don't just want to make our students ready for like the American world. Like we want to make them ready for the whole world. Like not just like an American centralized like business world. Like in today's society, it's very hard to even just stay in a domestic market. Like every kind of marketing company is going more towards like a globalization. And if you don't do that, then most of the companies that are just staying in a domestic or like a local market are becoming obsolete. So using that as a standard to like better our students and make sure that they're ready for any kind of world that they're going to be sent into, even one that they don't know anything about, is what I think UTD stands for. And I feel like going to conferences like this helps our students better understand what the world's about, not just like what our local market or what our local audience is, expecting from us. So I think it really helps like UTD students specifically because other universities also have these opportunities, but I feel like since that's our focus, like we should be more concerned and like more focused on sending people there. To not just these three conferences, but even more, even if they're not at like an international scale, like just to give that kind of experience to people that go here. So. Yes, yes, because that's really what we want, and that's really where we're going. So this is like one of the few steps that we can take to get there. And yeah, as I've already been to like an international conference, I can tell you like it's very good at like ousting you out of just like Texas or like Dallas, like it's really getting you out there meeting. Like I met professors from like Thailand, I met them from India, there was one from Germany. Like even just talking to professors is like really different for you, because even if it's not students, like these people know more about marketing than you ever do right now. And just talking to them and getting that type of insight from what they've learned and what they know is very different from just learning from like professors like in America. Not saying that they're not good or bad, but I'm just saying it's like a completely different mindset. And it's really interesting to get that perspective. And yeah, these conferences really help with that. So now I feel like I have a better understanding of what, like marketing works in other countries, not just ours. Why wouldn't you go? I don't know why you wouldn't go. I feel like some people might be afraid if they don't know how to present a paper, but there's a first time for everything. And this, like, you're going to be going with like other students, you're going to be meeting other students of the same level, so it's not going to be like you're going to lose your job. It's like you're going to go and you're going to present what you know, and people aren't going to be like, well, that sucked, I'm sorry, take that out. But people aren't going to be so like critical of exactly what you're presenting. They're gonna as long as you present it, as long as you know your material, and as long as you understand like your analytics or whatever the numbers are involved in your paper, and as long as you know how to explain it well to a level where they can understand it, no matter what their caliber is or how much about marketing that they know, you're gonna do fine. I don't think there's I understand like some people might be scared because it's their first time, but other than that, I think anybody given such a good opportunity should take it. And like I really like that there are like these campaign programs for people that can't afford to go. That's a very important part, that all of these students have such great papers, but they're like, oh well, my mom works 3 jobs and she just can't afford to send me with me and like my siblings right now. Like that's okay, the school will take care of that for you, and that's so important, because all these people that have such great potential to go to these conferences and like expand their knowledge and also help other people, don't get, just because of like something like money, they can't go. I think that's unfair. So like a campaign like this is very helpful to make sure that our students know that we have their back, that we can support them no matter what's going on, and like our alumni and our donors are all like there for our students and will also be in the future. I think that's like something that our students need to understand and be appreciative of. So I think there's more than just like they're giving money to the people who can't afford it. They're also showing that there's support out there. Like even if you were to graduate from the school, there's still people that are out there that can help you. And even if you graduate, you can still come back and help people after you, which is what I want with the legacy that I explained earlier. Like just because you leave the school doesn't mean you don't have connections to it. You will for the rest of your life. You've taken classes here, you've made friends here. It's really important for you to keep that connection, I feel like, especially with like an alma mater kind of thing. So, when a donor shows even just monetary support for students that go here, I think that shows more than just like, oh, he's giving me money to go. It's like he or she like cares about what the students here accomplish. He or she cares about what I learned from my experience here at UT Dallas.